Well, it's a lot playing out in Taraba politics, particularly the APC. A report came out recently about the suspension of members. You may have caught that. But, you know, the backstory to this is quite intriguing. So let's bring in the people who know better. As you have seen, Chief David Sabokente, the governorship aspirant of the APC in Taraba State, joins us via Zoom this morning. And just right next to him is Mr. El-Sudi Ibrahim, the chairman, APC. In Taraba State. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning.
Well, good morning.
I cannot hear you properly anyway.
Well, I can hear you, so I don't know if it's the network connection, but I'm hoping that will be resolved because I can hear you properly and it looks like everything is fine from this end. But let me begin with Chief Sabokente, because part of the statement which was released was that you should stop parading yourself as an APC member. And to that extent, from that side, it looked like, well, you had been suspended, and the reason was for anti-party activities. In fact, the reason goes back to previously where you were said to be suspended, or at least queried in your ward. You were said to have been asked to appear, and then the statement says you failed to appear, and it built up until this moment. So I'd like you to respond to that one with your own side of the story.
Okay, thank you very much, viewer. To be honest with you, what has been read out by that committee, by the former chairman of the party, is just a fabrication of his thoughts, because the ESCO of the party in my ward has not suspended me. When they wanted to put up that mischief, they just got some guys together and forced them to write. They wrote, we pursued it, the authentic ESCO pursued it up to Abuja, and the matter was put to rest. In fact, most of the people that even signed the first purported suspension letter wrote a letter to say that they never even signed. Most of them were not even the signatories. Those signatures were forged. So in the first place, there was no suspension on me by my party in my ward. I didn't, the party did not invite me to appear before them, and I refused, because I'm even imagining who is going to be inviting me at the local government level when the ward has not done anything. And then out of frustration, the state, the so-called state people are now saying that they are ratifying what was done in the ward and the local government. In the first place, the state ESCO is made up of 50 people, and 40-something among the 50 people have suspended this gentleman that claims to be the chairman of the party. So I imagine if it's not in Nigeria, if it were somewhere else, if you have 40 people out of 50 suspending you, you should even resign. If you have not met the quorum, you should even resign. He is shamelessly appearing on national television to address the press to say that he has suspended me, or they have ratified. How can 10 people ratify what 50 people are supposed to ratify? And you think it will stand the test of time? I think they're just wasting their time, and they are also is the aftermath of the frustration. The gentleman did not do well as a chairman. He lost election in virtually everything. He won no election in his area, and therefore he is coming to suspend somebody that election. I won in my unit. I won in my ward, and in my local government, and we produce a senator from my region, and produce a member House of Reps.
Right. Okay.
Even though
Chief Sabokente, just a moment, because
yes,
you have said quite a lot, and you refer to Mr. El-Sudi Ibrahim directly. He's right here with us, so let's get his response. Mr. Ibrahim, please go ahead with your response. And part of the things he spoke about is, first, your position as a chairman of APC in Taraba State, as well as other issues. So it's your turn to respond now.
Well, thank you very much. As you can see, Chief David Sabokente is exhibiting his usual arrogance and his recalcitrant and obdurate behaviors whenever he's engaged in any discussion. He will simply ask a response to those allegations being leveled against you that you were suspended by your ward and then subsequently by your local government, and it has been ratified by the state. He should have responded to those issues. But he doubled into trivialities that I'm a former chairman. Well, I don't have time to address. If I were not a chairman, I wouldn't have done what I have done. By virtue of a letter written on 21st February 2023 by the zonal, Northeast Zonal All Progressives Congress, they ratified and affirmed me as a substantive chairman. So he can continue to call me former chairman. All I know, he's not a member of All Progressives Congress. Well, we got letters written by Kente Ward, which is his own ward. It was written on the 12th of July 2022, and most of the executives signed calling for his expulsion. His local government now wrote a letter to him. Instead of him to respond in his characteristic manner of arrogance, he abused hell out of the secretary that called him. They formed a committee. The committee sat down, reviewed the allegation written by Kente Ward, and then expelled him from the party. And all of you know the imbroglio, the political activities. We could not do anything until now. He's talking of frustration. I don't know which frustration he's talking about. He's talking of 40 people signing for my removal. Well, I have the letter here, only 36, and out of that 36, 4 of them are not chairmen. 4 of them claimed, in fact, they wrote my office disclaiming their signature. So I don't know how he got 40. Under the Constitution said Tutat should sign and remove me, and I should be given fair hearing. I was not given fair hearing. I wrote the National Secretariat who instructed the zonal APC to take up the matter. That is not the issue anyway. The issue is that by virtue of Section 13, subsection 9(4), having been written those letters from his ward and local government, we simply did our duty. The section 13, subsection 9 says the State Working Committee shall deal with appeals and other issues. Other issues. That's the emphasis is on other issues. Referred to it by the local government area working committee and from the senatorial districts and wards of the state. And this letter has been lingering and lying on my table. I summoned, out of 18 members of the state working committee, I summoned a meeting for the working committee. 5 members of the state working committee declined from coming. 13 of us sat down and took this decision by ratifying what the local government did. So this is my response to your question.
Well, Chief El-Sudi, there seems to be some form of contradiction here. You say that he was suspended by his ward, and in fact you got a letter to that effect. But Mr. Chief Sabo Kente says he was not suspended by his ward. Chief Sabo Kente, would you be providing clarification to that effect? Did you get any letter from your ward where there were signatures that indeed were signed to confirm your expulsion by your ward?
Thank you very much. As I speak to you, I have not received any letter. It was just on social media. I saw a letter that was circulating. And again, by the way, if this letter that they're referring to was written sometimes late last year, before even the elections. So you can see the lack of logic in what they're doing. A letter was written last year, which you didn't act on. If there was even a letter, it was written last year, you didn't act on. After that is before the elections. Elections took place. You are now accusing somebody for anti-party after elections. Meanwhile, letters were written since last year. You can see how unintelligent the former chairman can be. Letters that were written last year have been acted on after the elections. So that's why I quickly told you, or I earlier told you that he's
Chief Kente, I'd like to warn here that you should be a bit more respectful in the language that you use. The chairman is also right here on set. But in continuing to respond, I'd also like you to clarify why you did not honor the invitations extended to you to defend the allegations against you.
I put it to you that no invitation was given to me. I'm sure if he investigates the people he has at the local government, they'll tell him that they've never written me any letter. They never wrote me any letter. They never wrote me a letter. As I speak to you, I never got a letter from my ward. I never got a letter from the local government. And therefore, what he's even saying or what he has, what they are trying to do to me means nothing. I actually didn't even want to respond on this or talk on the issue of this expulsion or so. Because, you know, of course, somebody has lost election completely in his place. So he's only nursing the anger of everything.
Sudi, in the letter, the statement rather, you know, talking about his expulsion, the anti-party activities for which he was expelled were not particularly clarified, were not stated. Can you define the anti-party activities for which Chief Sabo Kente has been expelled?
Written from Kente. Let me clarify. Yes, Kente Ward did not suspend or expel him. Rather, they itemized a series of allegations against him for anti-party activities and then recommended for his expulsion. And by virtue of the provisions of the APC constitution, the adjudicating body for allegations that emanate from ward level will be the local government level. So the local government wrote him, inviting him. They sent the secretary. Instead of him to respond, he was rather threatening them that he will lock them up in his characteristic manners, you know. He will do this, he will do that. He went ahead to, you know, frustrate these people. They formed a committee, invited him, he refused to appear, you know, because he looks down upon everybody. He thinks everybody is his, you know, servant or houseboy. So he refused to appear, and they went ahead, deliberated on the issue. The committee reported back to the local government. The local government now wrote a letter saying, having refused to come, it means he has accepted those allegations, and therefore they went ahead to expel him. Some of the issues, if I may read from the allegations, they said in a widely circulated video, Chief David Sabo Kente was heard venomously referring to fellow party men as foreigners. This pronouncement of his is antithetical to the spirit and letters of Article 3, which is bringing disaffection. One of it again is that Chief David Sabo
Mr. Bani,
yes.
if I may interrupt you, because we're completely out of time, but just this one question. This man is a senator-elect on your platform, and if we want to go by the laws of the land, it is the party that owns the ticket, but you're expelling him from your party, even though he's already an elected member of the National Assembly on your platform. What do you consider the process you'd have to go through to see him being replaced? Also, he keeps insisting that his ward has not expelled him, and the expulsion from the party is supposed to start from the ward. So how do you respond to this?
Well, we got a letter just similar to what happened to Chief David Sabo Kente. His ward equally itemized some certain anti-party activities. And in fact, he was even giving money to opposition party to work against All Progressives Congress. And they invited him. In fact, I have the audio of every sitting in this flash drive. all the procedures were followed. He refused to honor their invitation, and they subsequently expelled him. Well, the State Working Committee commuted that expulsion to suspension, because for a legislator, although some people are still arguing that he has not been inaugurated or sworn in, and therefore he's not a legislator per se. But out of certain considerations, the constitution of the party says if you want to expel an executive member of the party, a political appointee, or a legislator, you should refer the matter to the National Executive Committee. And that was our own recommendation. Well, because of his recalcitrant attitude towards the party and lack of respect for the party, there should be discipline in the party. If the National Executive Committee feels he should be left alone, well, that is the business of the National Executive Committee. We have done our own part of the duty. It remains for the National Executive Committee of the party to take any step they feel it is appropriate. It does not mean that he is removed once you expel him or suspend him from the party. That is not provided for under the Constitution. I'm very much aware of Section 65. It is only when he defects, he leaves the party, then automatically he will have to leave the National Assembly. So these are disciplinary procedures provided for under the Constitution, and we have followed it.
Brian, just a moment. Let me go to Chief Sabo Kente now, because part of the allegations as we wind down now from Mr. Ibrahim is that you allegedly called some party members foreigners and all. I don't know if you're fully aware of those allegations, but your final words on this. I mean, you are a big player in the party in Taraba State. You have your clout, your following, and I wonder what the next line of action is, because clearly your party won at the national level. There's still a lot at stake for your party.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. The issue at stake is, I thank God he's clarifying that my word did not suspend me or expel me from the party. You know, that is a very good one coming from him, even though, like I earlier said, he ceased to be the chairman of this party once he said 36 people out of 50 voted him out. If you have an ESCO of 18 people, and only few are sitting with you to take decisions, you know that decision is null and void. And more so, I want to ask him a question, that we have two sets of ESCOs. We had an ESCO that came from a legitimate Congress that were held in July. And then in September or October, they went and wrote names and brought another set and said those are ESCOs arising from no congresses were held. They just formulated those names and said they're ESCOs. So as I speak to you, we have two sets of ESCOs running in Southern Taraba, in the 5 local governments of Southern Taraba.
Right.
He should tell what the ESCOs is he referring to. Is he referring to the ESCO that went through the process of a Congress to emerge, or the ESCO that they sat down and wrote when Iman Pacha and Honorable Danji SS joined the party?
Well, I think that's a question that will be taken up in the coming days. But we're totally out of time, gentlemen. But we'll stay on this one. If there's a need, we'll definitely get more from you. But we'd like to thank you so much, Chief David Sabo Kente, governorship aspirant of APC in Taraba State, as well as Mr. Elsudi Ibrahim, the chairman of APC in Taraba State. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and we wish your party the very best.
Pass a vote of no confidence, not the so-called 34 or 36, he said.
All right, Chief Sabo Kente, thank you so much. And once again, Mr. Elsudi Ibrahim, thank you for your time on the program. So that's been the show. What a day it's turning out to be. And it's just getting started. But we'd like to thank you so much for being a part of our morning and allowing us to be a part of yours. I'm Kaido Hikelu.
I'm Bukola Koka. Thank you for watching.
I'm Maopai Ogun Yusuf. Thank you.
I'm Neo Taigbe, looking forward to hearing news that Nigerian students, and indeed Nigerians, have been evacuated from Sudan. Thank you for watching.